Hello, and welcome to another Thrive Tribe Introduces podcast. And today we are joined by Ishbel McGarry, who is a property veteran and has a business called Family Rental Solutions. Thank you for joining us, Ishbel.
Thank you very much indeed for inviting me, Mark.
No problem at all. So, all of our people that are watching really want to know a little bit about your background. Where have you come from?
Okay, well, I started property because I wanted to help people facing serious property problems, repossessions, probate, divorce, and financial difficulties, while also ensuring that ex-servicemen have stable housing when they leave the forces. Because after 34 years for Queen and Country in the British Army and in the police force, I saw firsthand how many ex-servicemen left the forces without a plan, struggling to secure housing. I recognised that homeowners in distress needed real solutions and that I could help both groups while building and sustaining a property business. And this drive led me to property investment, where basically I now acquire properties, provide tailored solutions, and ensure they are occupied, ultimately making a difference in people's lives. And I plan to achieve my objective through a strategic and people-focused approach in property investment. And I have got lots of reasons why, but they're more specific, and I can go and tell you those if you want me to.
No, do you know that's really interesting. So you've obviously come from a military and a police force background, so you must
Yes.
have seen plenty of things over your time, and I really admire, the reasoning why. Obviously you've seen lots of people leave the services and potentially the forces who it doesn't go quite as they were expecting, and as you say, people do have issues when they come out, and I say your story about wanting to help them, I think, is really admirable. Yeah, it's really, really good. So
Oh,
does
thank you.
that align with the mission of the business as well?
Okay, so my mission is to help people with property problems by providing solutions for homeowners facing repossession, probate, divorce, arrears, and financial difficulties in many forms. I aim to acquire properties and ensure occupancy with a particular focus on supporting ex-servicemen before or after they leave the forces, ensuring that they have housing and a plan for the future. So my business is not just about property investment, it's about solving real problems, offering tailored solutions and making a difference in people's lives. Your experience in the military, yeah, my experience in the military and the police force gives me a unique perspective, allowing me to connect with ex-servicemen and those in challenging situations, offering them stability and security.
I
So
love that.
that's really my mission.
No, no, that's really, really good. And how about your vision?
Okay, so well, my vision is to create a future where no homeowner feels trapped by property problems and no ex-serviceman leaves the forces without a secure place to live. I aspire to build a business that not only rescues properties from repossession and financial distress, but also empowers people with real solutions, ensuring that homes are lived in and communities thrive. My long-term goal is to establish a trusted property network that helps people in crisis, and it provides housing security and gives ex-servicemen the stability they deserve as they transition to civilian life. That's basically my vision, and to create a future where no homeowner is left struggling.
Yeah, and I think that's wonderful, especially when you tie it in with your military background and things. As I say, it's I think for some of the people obviously listening and watching this, they won't have come across that before. They would just assume that people would leave the forces, be all sorted, and just drop into civilian life. But as you've mentioned, it sometimes it just doesn't happen like that.
No, it certainly doesn't. There is occupations and that a lot of ex-servicemen veer towards mainly uniformed services, corporate services like fire, like police, like prison officers. They tend to stay in a uniform when they leave the forces for the structure, really, more than anything. And a lot of people struggle because they can't adapt to civilian life, and it leads a lot of ex-servicemen down a not so good road, and can lead to crime and alcohol and drug abuse and lots of other issues, as it does a lot of people in society. It's not unique to ex-servicemen, although there is a high proportion of ex-servicemen suffer from these issues when they leave the forces. They just can't cope. And I want to try and make sure that there is something in place to help them and others in the same situation. I'm not unique to ex-servicemen, although that is predominantly where my heart lies because of my background. But yeah, no, I'm willing to help anybody that needs help, and uh, and that's what I'm going to try and do,
Yeah.
with the assistance of obviously various organisations and various people within society that are either homeowners struggling to come to grips with the new legislations that just come in with the new government, Section 24, and a few others, the Renters Reform Bill, and a number of other legislative pieces that's now come to the forefront. And I want to try and just help whatever I can, really, and stop people being repossessed predominantly, because if they're repossessed, then that's them snookered for at least 6 years while their portfolio, while they rebuild their credit rating, because they wouldn't even get for 6 years they won't even get a mobile phone contract, for instance. They're really quite snookered if once they start to go down that slippery, slidey slope. So I don't, and that presents another problem because they become homeless then, and if they haven't got a roof over their head, then where do they go? What do they do? A lot of people turn to crime, but I want to try and avoid that, and I want to try and avoid the mental health situation as well. A lot of people suffer PTSD leaving the armed forces, whether it's the army, whether it's the navy, whether it's the air force. We're all sort of one big family, really. And that's why I called my business the Family Rental Solutions, because it's solutions to all problems, not just rental problems.
No, I really, really like that. And having worked with the homeless for a short while with the YMCA, and in Lincolnshire they deal with any age groups. Yeah, I see obviously the issues if people do become homeless and then do end up in a hostel of some description, or it's not ideal, is it? And as you say, if you can stop, if you can just give them that one piece of stability when they leave the forces, being their home, whether it's a new home or a home you can keep them, paying the mortgage, etc. I think it's really, really good. And I say it's a shame there isn't a government level something to help, but it's people like you that really want to make a difference. And you say it's, not everyone will have this problem, but even if 1 in 100, people every year that leave, that is still, several hundred people every year that leave the forces of some description that you can help. And I love the way you've tied in as you say, all the forces and other occupations are family. So I think your name, Family Rental Solutions, really says strongly what you're trying to achieve, which is brilliant.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mark.
No,
Appreciate that.
No, it's all right.
So I do actually provide tailored solutions for homeowners in crisis as well. And the second one is supporting ex-servicemen with housing stability. And the third one is acquiring and managing properties for sustainable growth. And to that end, I know that there are a lot of people out there that have got properties that they've either become an accidental landlord, or for whatever reason they have now got property that they don't really know what to do with. They're going to get hit with all sorts of taxes, inheritance tax, everything. There's so many different taxes out there that I can help them avoid, and I can actually provide solutions to sort of 99% of property issues out there because of the network that I've built over the time that I've been doing property, and over the years I've been educating myself. I've spent a substantial amount of money educating myself, and I can actually offer advice and guidance to anybody in property that wants to make a difference. If you want to make a difference, come and join me, and we can grow together and make a bigger difference to a lot more people.
Definitely. I really like the sound of that. So in terms of the people that you can help and the people that you're looking to find, reach out with and connect, who are
Yeah.
those types of people that you're after speaking to?
Well, there's three different categories, isn't there? There's obviously the investors, because we all need investors. If they want a better ROI, which means return on investment, then I can offer that, and I can also offer property owners in distress, whether it's in distress or whether they're accidental or whether they just got a property they don't know what to do with. I can help them, and ultimately I can help people keep a roof over their head. I also do rent to buy schemes, which is helping children when they get to the age of adulthood, when they get to 18, 19, they want to venture out and go alone and potentially look for their first property, which it's very, very difficult for them to do. So I can offer them an option of being able to rent properties with a view to buying that property. So they find a property, we actually then put them in the property. They pay a rent, but they pay a little bit more than their going rent. But that little bit more gets put into a government funded scheme whereby it will get a really good rate of interest. And it's then we work with solicitors to put into place a 3 year or 5 year term for them to be able to save enough money, or for me to save enough money for them to be able to then have a deposit, the money there for a deposit to buy the house that they've actually rented. So therefore, when they've got that cash pot and they apply for the mortgage and they've got the deposit, then they get the mortgage and then they carry on paying the mortgage, and I walk away and they stay in the house, and it's a win-win for everyone. And that's what I'm all about. I want a win-win for everyone. I'm not out there to make a packet of money, because that's not what I'm about. I'm quite comfortable and I don't need the money. I'm doing this because I genuinely want to help people, and that's what I'm about. And if you can align with my vision and with my mission, then please just give me a shout.
That's lovely. I say I had heard about the children who are obviously turning into adults at some point are really going to struggle on the housing market. We have obviously a shortage of housing to start with, and obviously the houses that we do have, as much as we have an increase in minimum wage every year, if people are unfortunate enough to be a minimum wage, they will struggle to get that deposit to be able to purchase a house. So that scheme sounds amazing in terms of, I rented, for quite a few years when I was at college and university, until I got myself this job, as it were. So yeah, I can definitely appreciate that, and I say having a scheme where you can do that, I think, is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, there are so many schemes out there, and as I say, I don't work with one scheme in particular. I cover a plethora of different schemes. They all are bespoke, and they actually then apply to each individual's case and each individual's needs and requirements. So we have to just have a discussion. If you have an issue or a problem, then please talk to me and let's see if we can get a good solution, and we can move forward together and everybody's happy.
I really, really like that. And as I say, I think from the services point of view and anyone that's currently going through a hardship, I think having that first conversation with somebody like you, there's no strings attached. We were speaking before the podcast began. If you email email address is on the screen, ishbel.mcgarry@familyrentalsolutions.com. You'll come back to them, and then you'll just have a chat, 15, 20 minutes, just to see what the circumstances are. give some suggestions to how you can help. And I think that's it. You're all about helping those individuals, and there's not enough people, as you say, that are out. A lot of people are out there to make a quick buck, but you genuinely, from the conversations that we've had and the research that I've done into this, you just want to help people, don't you?
Oh, genuinely, absolutely, and that's what I'm all about, and it makes you feel good. And my whole life is spent helping people. I work with SAFA, the Soldier Sailors and Air Force Association, as caseworker for them until I got my own business, and then I became too busy to be able to volunteer for them. But I just, anybody that needs any help, I can still provide that help, and through the SAFA networks and through other various organisations that I also work with, there are lots and lots of people out there needing help, but don't always know what way to turn. And that is really sad, because that leads to other issues such as mental health issues. There's just there's just such a lot of people needing a lot of things at the minute, especially with how the government's putting prices of everything up. People, you can't even, you're shopping every week when you go shopping. I see it. I used to have a budget. It's nearly doubled in 2 years. So I'm not buying any extra. I'm just buying the same things, but the prices have gone so crazy that it's just, you just wonder how people actually can afford to live, especially with families and other sort of issues in their life. You just think it's just, you just need to be out there looking for people that need the help and
Yeah,
that are too proud, like a lot of servicemen, they're too proud to ask for the help.
yeah,
And that's not unique to services. That covers a lot of the population. They're too proud to actually admit they've got a problem and they
yeah.
need help.
So
And
it is all about just reaching out with you, making that first contact, and then just being open and honest, isn't it? As you say, that's the first barrier, isn't it, for many people? It's making that
absolutely,
call, no matter what their situation is. But 9 times out of
100%.
ten, that there can be a solution that can be found, but you just got to open up, be honest, have the conversation with you, and you'll help them tailor a solution.
But if you do want to reach out and talk to me personally, then please do. As I say, that through email, there is also a phone number there, and I'd love to be able to help. If you need my help, just shout, pick up the phone, type me a message, just get in touch, but don't suffer alone.
Yeah, definitely. I really, really like that, Ishbel. I've got one last question. Obviously, being a business owner,
Yeah.
and so those people that might want to start their own business who are watching this, what advice do you give to them?
Well, I think there's no I in team, and I think you need to be part of a network of people, whether that's attending networking venues for various areas. Every area's got them. The Federation of Small Businesses is also very good, and they give you a lot more than the contacts. They actually provide you with bank accounts that don't charge you any interest. They give you it's all free through the co-op banking. They've got a partnership with them, and yeah, it's all about meeting people, getting yourself out there, going to the networking, meeting people, doing the training. I mean, I've spent, as I said earlier, a tremendous amount getting myself fully trained, but with the amount of properties and things out there as well, there's a lot of empty properties. The legislation's changing now, so we can actually shortcut the system so we can get those properties back into action and start building houses, which we're very, very short of. But the commercial conversion is something that a lot of people are doing, and that I feel is really needed, because there's too many empty shops and empty premises, and it brings the demeanour of villages and towns uh, down. People just don't come into towns because there's no shops. They're just all graffitied and vandalised, and it makes a lot of the towns look very, very sad. And those places can actually be getting used for houses for people get them off the streets and to get them undercover, especially in the colder weather that we've experienced over recent weeks. But I'm just hoping that the sun's going to shine soon and people will warm up, and yeah, it's a time to get the job done now before another winter. But
Definitely.
but yeah, no, please get in touch with me if you do have any problems, any issues, or anything that you want to ask me about property, then just get in touch. And as I say, if you are a property owner in particular, then let me help you, because I can give you solutions. And it's not a case of you giving me the property away. That's not what I'm about. I've got angel investors that are looking to back the right projects. And I know that Lincolnshire is not a particularly good area for a lot of investors. They tend to want to go down to London or some of the bigger cities because they feel they're getting more for the money. That's not the case, not at all. So there's lots of regeneration going on, especially in Skegness, and lots of different areas around are actually getting money put into them, government funding and other funding, local government funding, and yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out there at the minute. Now's the time to actually start helping people and make sure that all these people we're seeing in doorways when we go into town are off the streets and undercover and in houses that will facilitate the needs.
Brilliant, Ishbel. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Well,
So
thank
yes,
you, Mark.
no,
Thank you
that's
for having me.
yeah, that's an absolute pleasure. All of Ishbel's contact details will be below the video, so you'll be able to contact her directly. And I say, just reach out and start that conversation. Ishbel
Yes, please.
from Family Rental Solutions, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all, Mark. Thank you for your time. And thanks
No
for
worries.
listening, everybody.